Good morning, everyone this morning who's been able to join us this morning to hear about Dakota County Small Business Grant Program and an overview of some other business services from the Community Development Agency here in Dakota County. This webinar is part of our real-time solutions webinars brought to you by the Apple Valley, Burnsville, Hastings, Lakeville, and River Heights Chambers of Commerce. We're in our 5th series of webinars, and I want to thank our series sponsor, Dr. Melinda Solfest Hills and Bauer Law Firm in Apple Valley. Dr. Melinda is a great partner, and we're grateful for their sponsorship, which is helping our chambers maintain the technology needed to provide these programs. Some housekeeping items this morning. All participants are muted, so please use the chat feature. And this webinar will be recorded and made available on our partner websites for future viewing. My name is Jennifer Harmoning, and I'm the president of the Burnsville Chamber of Commerce. Our speaker today is Lisa Alfson of the Dakota County Community Development Agency. Lisa, thanks so much for joining us this morning, and I will turn it over to you for your presentation.
Morning, Jennifer and attendees. Thank you very much for this opportunity to spread the word about the Dakota County Small Business Relief Grant Program. We are really trying to take advantage of any opportunity we can just to get the word out. So I really appreciate that. I have a couple slides I would like to share. Just put this into presentation mode. And I do, like Jennifer mentioned, excuse me, I just need to fix my screen. Here, there we go. So just looking at the program summary, on July 14th, the Dakota County Board of Commissioners approved $10 million to create the Small Business Relief Grant Program. This is funded with the CARES dollars that you have also seen other cities and counties in the state utilize as well to assist businesses with the COVID pandemic impact on your businesses. This is a one-time grant up to $10,000 for eligible businesses based on eligible expenses. I've listed on this slide the eligible expenses, really focusing on the payroll and operating costs. The CARES Act is very explicit that you cannot reimburse people for loss of revenue, businesses with loss of revenue or individuals. So we've looked at finding a way of identifying those operational costs businesses had to continue to incur even when your revenue dropped and your clients were no longer coming into your businesses. So that's how we have structured this program. Who is eligible? We looked at the Dakota County Board of Commissioners was really interested in trying to make this as simple as possible, which is difficult because I know that there's so many different programs right now, from city specific, county specific, the state program, that they really wanted to they took the eligibility and the requirements of the DEED state program, their grant program, and replicated that for the county. So what you'll see for eligible businesses, ineligible businesses, is what the DEED program was. So I'll go over those briefly. They're on the slide in front of you. So who is eligible are businesses that have 50 full-time or equivalent or fewer employees as of March 1st of this year. You need to be a private for-profit organization with a physical permanent address in Dakota County. It must be owned by a permanent resident of Minnesota and be in good standing with the state, county, and city in which the business is located. And then a really important part of the act, which is very explicit as well, is that you must be able to demonstrate financial hardship as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that your business was adversely affected by the pandemic. There was a couple questions about what is that financial hardship. We do have that definition in our FAQ, which is on our website, but it is looking at you need to be able to demonstrate that there was a 10% reduction in revenue between, I believe, I might get this wrong, but I believe it was March to May 2019 compared to March to May of 2020. It is explicit in our FAQ, but it's a 10% reduction in revenue during that specific time. Looking at ineligible businesses, again, this is what the DEED program had, so that's how ours is structured. Home-based businesses are not eligible except for licensed child care providers, nonprofit organizations, businesses that drive any income from adult-oriented businesses, any business that happened to be in default prior to February 29th, Then there's another couple other variety of businesses looking at fluctuations in price rather than the normal course of trade, primarily focused on lending, engaging in anything that is not an eligible or lawful business, and then a business engaging in gambling enterprises unless the business earns less than 50% of its annual net revenue from lottery sales. I should pause also and mention that I know there's a number of other funding sources that is eligible for businesses, from state to federal programs. If a business received a federal funded program, such as the Payment Protection Program or an SBA loan, you are eligible for the county program. However, if a business has received funding from DEED or the state through their loan program or through their most recent grant program, when I know those have not been announced yet, those are not eligible. So the applications are currently up. We're doing a 3-week accepting applications for 3 weeks, and that ends on 4:30 on Friday, February 14th. I thought I'd take this time. One of the frustrations when trying to create this program was I wasn't able to ever see what the application looked like because I needed to fill it out first. And so it was not always easy for me to do. We have put on our website, we have put the sample application for you to be able to see. So I want to be able to share that. Let me make sure I can get to that. Excuse me. Share screen, make sure I'm sharing the right one, sample application. So on our website, you can see we have the sample of the application, and wanting to just be able to see, so you can see what we're asking for. So we have an eligibility criteria with a couple of notations, so you can kind of give a little bit more clarification on the different things that we're asking. So a couple eligibility questions, and then very simple. We're asking about business information, name of business, business address, business owner's address, contact information, your website, what type of business do you have, what services do you provide, number of employees, is your building leased or owned, what other funding sources have you received. Those will be verified during the verification process that will be done, but we wanted to make sure that we get that information up front. And then there's a couple public disclosures and things that you need to sign to make sure that you will use the money as you say you will, in ensuring that you will be available for any kind of auditing requirements that will come with these dollars. We estimate that it'll probably take about no more than 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes to complete the application. We really wanted to try to make it easy up front for applicants to be able to be able to complete the information. And then how our program is structured is that if you are to be selected, then we would do more of the verification pieces would be requested at that time. Wanted to share here is the website I mentioned we have a FAQ, and the program guidelines can provide a lot more information. And then the links to the application. We have an application in Spanish and also in English. As for next steps, our applications, as I mentioned, are due next Friday. How it is currently structured, similar to other programs, is if there are more applicants than funds, a randomization process will occur or a lottery process. So on the 14th is when we stop receiving applications. After that, our third-party administrator, who is Next Stage, they are a nonprofit that works with businesses and primarily startups. They are going to look at the application, and they're going to make sure that there are no duplicates. They'll remove duplicates because duplicates are not allowed. They're going to try to do a quick scan to make sure people have a physical address, that they are in Dakota County. Try to get rid of some of those we know are not eligible before the randomization process occurs. And then at that time, if there are more applicants than funding, so with $10 million, we can fund at a max of $10,000 per business to 1,000 businesses. So we'll do a randomization of those applications to determine who would be the ones selected at that time. We have been asked to go to the county board on the 25th of August, not October, to give them an update of how many applications we have received at that time. And then all applicants, whether selected or not, will all be notified by Wednesday, August 26th. Funds must be spent by the 1st of December. That is a part of the requirement from the state. So we're going to be trying to get this money out the door as quickly as possible. Our third-party administrator, their business ran this program for Hennepin County and also for Scott County. And when they get going, they can generate about 300 applications a week. So we really are hoping that we would be done getting money out the door by the latest early October. I want to mention briefly, there was a couple questions beforehand, but I think it's also important to recognize that the county has provided $10 million to this program, but we have also partnered with a number of our cities who are putting their own CARES dollars into this program. So rather than creating their own city-specific program, what they've asked is, the first one to do this was Farmington. They have formally allocated $500,000 of their CARES dollars to the county program to fund another additional 50 Farmington businesses. And as you can see, Hastings has put money in, and then last night, Mendota Heights put in additional money as well. And then a couple, Egan and Inver Grove Heights are also still considering putting money into the county program. How does that look like for businesses? So what that does is, as I mentioned, there was the randomization process. So we will select about 1,000 applicants for the county funds. From the ones that are not selected for those 1,000 county dollars, let's say there's Farmington ones, and let's say there happen to be 50 Farmington ones that were not selected. Those Farmington ones then can be funded with the additional Farmington dollars. If there are 60 additional Farmington businesses that were not selected in the county round, then there would be a randomization lottery process of just those Farmington ones to figure out who would be the 50 that would be funded. And then I wanted to mention at the bottom, we have several cities in the community who in the county have gone forward, and they have their own programs up and running. Burnsville, Lakeville, and West St. Paul are all currently accepting applications. And I did provide links on the PowerPoint to their specific city programs. So with that, this is our website. We do have a specific email address that I'm checking frequently, and we have a phone number as well dedicated to this program to answer any questions that folks may have. So that's, Jennifer, what I had for, here I should stop sharing my screen, sorry. That's what I had for a PowerPoint presentation. I don't know if you want to take questions at this time before, and I do have a couple other programs I can talk about as well, but I'm assuming there's definitely questions I did not answer about the small business program.
No, you covered a lot of ground, and this is great information. And so everybody who is here knows Lisa is going to share the PowerPoint with me, and I will send it out so you can have those links to anyone who is here with us today. The other couple of questions one thing I know there's a lot of questions surrounding what the individual city grants versus the county grants, and I think Lisa did a nice job. So just to clarify what she said, a lot of those cities are funding it through the county grant process. If you're in one of those cities, you only have to apply for the county grant process, and the additional funding will come through that process, either through the county or the city. And then, as she mentioned, some of the cities are doing their own programs. So for example, for us in Burnsville, we're encouraging businesses to apply for both. They'll only be able to get one, but we're encouraging them to apply for both. And I believe other cities are still evaluating this. I think Apple Valley has discussed this. So definitely based on the city that you're in, look at the county program, and then check with your local chamber, your local city, to see if their grant process is running through the county or if they have a separate application. A couple other questions that have come up. One, I think you talked about this in your presentation, but one question we've had here is, what if most employees are part-time? So this is full-time equivalent. Do you have a calculation for that? I mean, I know is it just hours, full-time equivalent hours of employees, or how do you calculate that?
And I think that this will definitely be verified during that if you're selected, when you would have to provide more verification, but really it can be as much as, it can be as few as yourself, as the owner, as the employee, up to 50 full-time equivalent employees. So it would be based on hours, I believe. So I think a full-time employee is 2,080 hours. And so you'd probably look at that and calculating that. And it's also looking at how many I'm so sorry, I am more of a bureaucrat than in business, but I think it's looking at the W-2s, I think, is that, yeah, in the verification and how many employees you have listed there as well.
Yeah, great. Couple other questions here. A lot of businesses want to know where their data is going. They're sharing a lot of confidential data here, and what are the protections here? I mean, is this going to be public data when they submit it because it's going to the government?
I appreciate that question because I think it's a very important question for all of us. And it was a concern for us up front when structuring the program and working with the county board about this. We purposely in the county board approved hiring a third-party administrator. The third-party administrator is the one who created and has the IT platform, who the business will submit their application through. If and when a business is selected, you will work directly with that third-party administrator next stage and upload your secured data and information onto their cloud, onto a specific link that you receive. That data will never be deemed as public data. That's not going to be on county servers or government servers. It will be held by the third-party administrator, I believe, for up to 6 years, because that's what we're based upon from an auditing perspective. But I don't have access to that. It would be the third-party administrator who has that.
Okay, so county staff won't see it. Not only is it not public data, but even county staff won't see it.
Nope.
Thank you, Lisa. A couple more questions coming in here this morning. This isn't, I think I know the answer to this, but you can help me with this. Do you happen to know if Northfield is in Dakota or Rice County? We're located in Northfield. I think it depends on where the business is located, right? If you're in the Dakota County part of Northfield or the Rice County part of Northfield. Is that accurate?
So yeah, so there is always there's that little bit of Northfield that is in Dakota County. How we have the program structured right now, Jennifer, is that Northfield is not in the program. Okay. Even if you're in the northern part. The thought was because all counties got a chunk of these CARES dollars, we thought it would be understand that Rice County can also create their own business program as well, or even Northfield, because Northfield also received CARES.
Okay, so if you're in Northfield, check with the city of Northfield and Rice County. Great, thanks. Another question, has DEED completed their review and notified applicants if they were selected for funding yet? That process is a little bit longer. Do you know where they're at this point?
DEED, and I believe, Jennifer, I think the chambers are on the call as well as a number of businesses. Every week, the DEED has a call on Thursday morning at 11. And the last I heard from Kevin McKinnon, it was they have been selected. The names have not been made public, but the businesses have been, their information has been sent to they also are doing third-party nonprofit organizations are doing the verification process. And I know that the applications have been sent to them and they're currently being verified. What Kevin, from DEED has said is that it would be to us in the second or third week of August, we would know. That's coming out quickly, but we're really hoping to know what that information is, because we're going to need to make sure from the county program that we need to know who got funded from the state program so that we also don't fund them as well. So we're all very interested in knowing when that data comes out.
Yeah. Great. Let's see, one last question. Again, I think you addressed some of this, but wondering if the county board will be considering any additional funding depending on the demand for this program. You talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, thank you for that question. So the board has asked for regular updates on what is going on with this program because they're heavily interested. This is the largest amount of CARES money they have funded so far for an individual program. So they're very interested in supporting the small business community. We have been asked, so our application process is done on the 14th of August, and they have asked that we come back to the board. They have a special board meeting for August 25th, that Tuesday, to talk about how many applications we've received. And I believe at that time they want to be able just to see how many they have, and at that time they will could consider adding more money if they would like to.
Great. Okay, I think we've covered the questions that we've got this morning. And so I'm happy to turn it over because I think you were going to cover some other business related programs or opportunities through the CDA, right?
Yeah, thank you. We have two other application programs. I just want to make sure people are aware of because they've been a part. One is one we've been doing for quite a while. It's our Open to Business program. Oh my goodness. Technology. So let me just get my screen fixed real fast. There we go. Open to Business program we've been doing. The CDA board has been funding since 2013. It is a nonprofit organization through the Minnesota Consortium of Community Developers, MCCD. Open to Business provides one-on-one business counseling to current and prospective entrepreneurs. The service is free to all Dakota County businesses and residents. I just want to make sure, and it's basically focused on the startup community, but people of any stage of businesses are more than welcome to contact Natalie. She is our new Open to Business advisor. She has been with us just for about a week or so she's pretty new to the organization and to Dakota County, but she was getting out there this week to start meeting people. We're going to connect her with the chambers and to the cities and try to get her out there as well so everyone can meet Natalie and get that one-on-one business counseling. The other one I wanted to mention, Jennifer, this is a program, this is the second year that the CDA board has funded this program. It is the CEO Next Business Institute. This is a business, so the Open to Business is more focused on the startups, but this business is really this program is focused on the second stage businesses, those fast accelerating, fast growing businesses in our county, providing them access to business research, peer learning, and forum events to help keep them growing and to make the most impact with their growth. The Dakota County CDA board, the CDA board funded 3 scholarships last year in our first year. They've increased those to 5 for this year. So for 5 eligible businesses to participate. That begins in the fall. And it is for CEOs who is eligible to apply. I have listed here CEOs of for-profit privately held businesses with 10 to 99 employees with annual revenues of between 1 million and 50 million. That are past that startup stage. I haven't, we just got the application up yesterday, so I included that link for people as well if you want to go there. People can also encourage people to contact me if they want to know more about this program. It is a program that meets monthly with your peers to try to learn from each other. It's really a great opportunity for that peer growth and learning from each other from different types of industries across the metro area. But what we've heard from our businesses, the 3 participating this year, is that you receive up to 50 hours of dedicated business research that is, it's so instrumental when you are a fast-growing business you don't have access to all of the research that typically larger businesses have. And so the researchers are all across the country working for many different types of agencies, from universities to nonprofits to private consulting firms. And they can do anything from assisting with marketing, trying to identify new clients for you, improving your website, just a wide variety of research needs that a business may want at that time. So with that, those are the 2 things that we're really excited about and trying to help support businesses in Dakota County from the startup to that second stage. And we're really encouraged and excited to start meeting with businesses about the CEO Next. Again, that's very new. We just started getting that application link just yesterday. So I apologize. Our website is not up to date, but we are, I think probably next week I'll definitely be a little bit more knowledgeable of where we're at with that program and excited to talk to people about it.
Great. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today on very short notice, and thanks for all the attendees who jumped in. We had a great turnout this morning. As I mentioned, this program is being recorded, and so we can share this with all the businesses in Dakota County. We will, let's see, our speaker for next Wednesday's webinar will be Dakota County Sheriff Tim Leslie. Sheriff Leslie will share public safety updates from the pandemic and civil unrest and answer questions for businesses. Again, these webinars are provided in partnership with the Apple Valley, Burnsville, Hastings, Lakeville, and River Heights Chambers of Commerce and sponsored by Dr. D. Melinda, Solfest Hills and Bauer Law Firm. The recordings will be made available on partner websites, and we will be sending out the slideshow presentation. Thanks to Lisa for all her work this morning, and everybody have a Chamber of Commerce day.
Thank you. Thank you.